Good morning, welcome to Fairy and Spoil. I'm going to talk to you today about anti-anxiety drugs for dogs. There is a group of 7 of us that regularly walk all our dogs together. And on the whole, we pretty much agree on everything. But one thing that we really don't agree on is whether or not you should give your dogs anti-anxiety medication over bonfire night season. So in the UK, it pretty much lasts for 3 weeks because you have Halloween when it starts, so you have that week. Then you have Guy Fawkes night, which when it gets really bad, and you have that week. And then you'll have the week after Guy Fawkes night because a lot of people buy their fireworks on in the sale and then have their parties. And on top of that, for the last couple of years, we've had Diwali hit the same week. So we've had 3 weeks, which is quite normal for us, where there were fireworks. And sometimes the fireworks are really bad and sometimes they're not so bad, but there were fireworks going off every night. And if for dog owners, it's a big deal. And some people in this group, so there are 7 different households. So, there's 2 adults in some. Basically, there's 7 different sets of people. And the whole study involved about 15 dogs. So there's about 7 different groups of people. There were 7 different groups of people in this. And some of them go to the vet and get real hardcore medication. Some of them go online and get anti-anxiety medication. And then there was me and another person who only did it with no medication at all. Just use our energy and a few other bits and pieces. If you want to know the other bits and pieces that I did and the preparation that I did, I will link the video at the end, my firework journey. I've recorded my whole story for a year because we got Humps here a year ago and he's a rescue dog, and then for a whole year, and he was terrified last year. So for a whole year there were things that I did every single day to get him ready for this year. And so I'll put that video up at the end and you can watch that. But on the actual day, it was all down to my energy. So I went and visited these 6 homes. So I'm home 7, and then there were 6 other homes. Some dogs had 1 dog, some homes had 1 dog, and some homes had 2 dogs. And I went and visited each of these dogs before they were given any medication or before the fireworks started. And just to on my own, I didn't take my boys with me. I've got 3 boys, didn't take them with me. I just went on my own. And all the dogs were very happy to see me. They were all fit and well and healthy. All these dogs know me, but not in their home. A lot of them I'd never been to their home. I'd only seen them out on walks. But they were all happy and healthy and very engaged with me, and we had a cuddle and a play, and very happy to see me. And then the dogs that were given medication, they were given their medication. Like I said, some people went to the vets and got the medication, and some people got it online. And this is what they've been doing for years with their dogs. And so they just did what they were normally going to do. And then there was one other lady who, like me, no medication. She was just relying on her energy. So everybody that was going to be given medication was given medication. I went back and saw them all on day 3. Everybody seemed nice and relaxed. I thought some of them were starting to look a little bit spaced out, but they were relaxed. They weren't as excited to see me. They weren't quite as engaged, but they were relaxed. On day 4, all of the dogs that I went to see them all again, and they were all spaced out. They all looked like they were just completely spaced out. And I'd walk into the room and some would waddle up to me. Some didn't come up to me at all. There was no excitement. They just looked really, really spaced out. Almost like they were inside their body, they were behind their eyes, and they couldn't get what they were feeling out to me. It was really disturbing to see. On day 6, there was a dog fight between 2 of the dogs that lived together, and both were put on medication, and they had a dog fight. Nothing about that surprised me because they were so spaced out, these dogs, that they wouldn't have been able to show their real behaviour. Dogs wouldn't have been able to read each other. And dogs they have the most intricate language between them. It's so intricate, and tiny little symbols and signs, and so intricate in how they read each other. And then they wouldn't have been able to read each other because they were just spaced out. So it was no surprise to me at all that 2 of the dogs ended up having a fight. On day 8, one of the owners got bitten by their dog. Again, nothing about this surprised me because the dogs were so spaced out that the dogs weren't able to show true behaviours. And there is no way that the owners would be able to read the dogs, because these dogs were just, I can only explain it like it was like they were behind the screen of their eyes. And so one of the ladies got bitten. The lady that did Just Her Energy, now her dog did show more fear. So they all took videos of what the dogs were like when the fireworks were going off. And the dog that had no medication, that dog did show more fear than the other dogs. But that's only because he was able to show more fear. The dogs that were on the medication were so spaced out, they weren't able to show the fear. But that does not mean that they didn't feel the fear. And there are a lot of people trying to get the heavy anti-anxiety drugs banned, simply for that reason, because they say that the dogs still are as scared, but they're not able to shake and show it because all of that has been blocked from being able to happen. The other thing that really came out of this was that the dogs that were on medication and unable to show fear didn't connect to the owner. Whereas the dog, and I'm going to include myself in this, the dogs that were just non-medicated, and Humps was one of those dogs here, they were able to be so much more connected to the owner because they were able to show their real fear. So if they were scared, they were able to shake, and Humps wasn't shaking. He actually did really, really well. And compared to last year, he did so much better. He was really nice and calm. But there was an absolute connection between us. So we stayed together. We stayed connected. There was a lot of interaction between us. Whereas the dogs that had the medication, they couldn't interact with their owners. There was no connection. I don't think some of the owners quite saw it for what it was, because they're so used to just giving their dogs the drugs every year. But I was alarmed at how, when I went on day 1, how the owners and the dogs were really interactive. But by the time we got to day 8, well, not even day 8, day 4 really, I noticed it, there wasn't really an interaction between the dogs and the owners. And I thought that was really sad. The other thing I thought was that when I went to see the other lady that did it, just no medication, she, when she showed me videos, you could see that when the bangs went off, the dog ran to the owner and sat with the owner and was able to have comfort and get reassurance from that. The dogs that were medicated, they didn't run to the owner. They just stayed where they were on their own. And I that didn't seem natural to me. I mean, I've got 3 dogs. I'm surrounded by dogs all the time. I have been for many, many years. And for a dog to just stay in one place but have massive wide eyes and be looking terrified but to not have a reaction, that's not natural. That's not natural at all. And I think that to have a dog that generally connects very well with his owners, and then when something really scary is happening, to just be, I can only explain it as like shut up. It was like they were shut into themselves and they couldn't communicate. And I thought that, so when I went and saw the dogs on dog day 8, that was the day that one of the owners got bit. I went and saw all the dogs, and I thought the dogs looked scared. That was what I got. That when the dogs looked at you, they looked like they were scared, like they didn't understand what was happening to them. And it was at that point that I really was like, I think we need to get these dogs off these drugs. At that point, it really, really seemed cruel to me. Didn't seem fair at all. I was uneasy about the whole situation from day 4. Once they started to look spaced out and unconnected, really wasn't happy with it at all. By day 8, I was incredibly uncomfortable with it. I was not happy with it at all. I didn't like it at all. So that is how that all went. I'm not really going to massively give my opinion on this. I'm going to tell you what happened, and then you choose what you. Well, obviously, they're your dogs. Obviously, you will choose. But I just want to give you what I saw and what happened. Now, the interesting thing about this was, sorry, excuse me. The interesting thing about this is that I generally do not agree with vets. I just generally, I don't. I just generally don't. However, while this was all going on, I happened to be talking to a vet, and I was in a situation where they could have sold me anti-anxiety drugs. They didn't know what I was doing. And this vet said to me, oh no, no, I don't agree with anti-anxiety drugs because they mask what the dog is really feeling. And that is it. That is it. That is it. They're masking it. They're not stopping what the dog's feeling. They're not stopping the fear. They just mean that they're unable to show it. And like I said, there were people trying to ban a lot of anti-anxiety drugs for that very reason, because it's like you basically imprison them. So they're still feeling all the fear. They're just not able to show it. So, I thought for a vet to say that was a lot, because, a lot of them were just in it for the money. And, so to hear a vet say that, I thought was quite something. So that's what happened. I'm just going to tell you what I saw. The conclusion that we all came to as a group was that the drugs were not the way to go. And I think when I took videos of the dogs all spaced out and then showed them to the owner, they could kind of see it differently, and they could see what I was talking about, the spaced out and how they just lost connection with them. There was no connection during the really scary times. And also when they saw the videos of the dogs, and my dogs and the other lady's dogs that had no medication, but the dogs came to us and we were able to talk to them and reassure them. When those videos were shown to the people that did give medication, I think I know they could really see how unconnected they were to their dogs. Unconnected is the word. That is the word. The dog just unconnected from the owner, and that's never going to be a good thing. Never, ever, ever. So the conclusion was that sorry, excuse me, keep coughing. The conclusion is that there will be no drugs next year. Nobody will be given any of their drugs. And trust me, this is not a group of people who were pressurised into doing this. These are experienced dog owners. Well, not massively, actually, most of them are probably quite new to dog ownership, actually. But the general opinion is, what I'm trying to say is that we weren't pressuring them into it. That they feel free to do whatever they want to do. And the feeling was that next year they will not be giving their dogs any drugs at all. And then in this year going up, the year we've got now, they're going to be doing the stuff that I've done. So the bubble wrap training, the YouTube fireworks every day, just building and building and building. Because without question, that helped Humps so much. He was so bad last year. So he's a rescue dog from Korea. He was a breeding dog for the dog meat trade, so lived in absolute hell. And we rescued him last year, and then we rescued him in August, and then obviously Bonfire Night is in November. And so he was just so scared. And so the difference between last year and this year has been really remarkable. So and that I put down to the bubble wrap training and the YouTube firework stuff that I did with him. But that's all a separate video, and I'll put that playlist up, and you can watch it and see what I did. And I absolutely swear by that. And then on the day, absolutely sorry, I'm so sorry about this cough. I'm getting over a cold, and the cough it just lingered. And then on the actual, over the 3-week period, really, really checked in with my energy. So that's what conclusion we came to after, we've been debating this for a while. Some of us really thought it was the right thing to do, and others, really didn't. So that's the conclusion that we've come to. I will be so interested to know what you think. Do you drug your dogs? That's a strong word, but do you use anti-anxiety drugs for your dog? And how does that go? What do you think? Really interested. Let's have a conversation about this. Some of you are going to completely disagree with me and the others. You're going to think, no, the drugs are the right way to go. But, we need to hear what you think. But for me personally, I'd never seen a dog that was sedated with drugs from the vets. I've never in my life seen anyone do that to a dog. And it was really alarming to me to see. I wanted to see how that dog reacted, and it was shocking. And like I said, I stepped in and said, look, I don't think this is good for the dog. I will help you, but this is not good for the dog. Let's stop it. Let's get the dog off the tablets. Let's stop it. I was alarmed, really alarmed. So it was it wasn't a good thing that I did, because I know, I mean, it was good because I'm absolutely 100% completely and utterly now. I always was really, really strong with my feelings about it, but now I'm 100% without question against any anti-anxiety medication for dogs. I'm so against it. I always was, but now 100%. I've got evidence, I've seen it, and I was disturbed by how it made the dogs react. So that's that. So thank you very much for watching. You know where I am, you know how it all works. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.